Hello and welcome, Silas here, and this will be the final video in my PS TV Remote Play series. And today, what I kind of want to go over is what would happen if your connection is not optimal. What does it look like? How bad does it get if you don't have a good enough connection for your remote play? Not necessarily dropping out, but if your connection is just not stable or you just don't have the bandwidth to really keep that good experience. And this is going to include some stuff that I've highly recommended against, just to show you why I recommend it against a particular setup. As you can see right now, I am connected via LAN cable. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, I've already changed my settings on the PS4 to directly connect with the PS TV, and that's one thing I also do want to worry about. Even if you connect via LAN cable, if you have directly connect with the PlayStation 4 PS TV on the PlayStation 4, if you have that, if you go to remote play and you have that connected directly with the PS TV, PS Vita set option checked, it will switch from the LAN cable to direct Wi-Fi connection. So make sure you pay attention to that, because if you don't, you'll be thinking, oh, I'm connected via LAN cable, and turn your settings up, and then for some reason your experience is not good, and it's lagging and frame dropping and all kinds of things of that nature, and you're wondering why. Well, that would be why. But I'm going to leave this on high. Again, as you can see, if you look in the upper left, I'm still connected via LAN, but when I go to connect, you're going to watch that change to the little Wi-Fi symbol when I get connected here. So let's do that. It's searching. You'll see it in the upper left there. Pay attention. There it goes. And now it's directly connected over Wi-Fi. So it'll drop that hardwired connection in favor of the direct Wi-Fi connection if you have that set up. So it's something you definitely want to make sure that if you're running hardwired, that on the PS4 you uncheck that. In fact, I'll go show you the setting right now that I'm talking about. If you go under Remote Play Connection Settings, see right here, connected directly with PS Vita, PS TV. If you leave that checked, it will not connect over the LAN cable. It will favor that direct Wi-Fi connection. So if you want to go hardwired, make sure you uncheck that. Otherwise, you could run into issues, and then it just won't be that optimal experience you're looking for. But anyway, let me just drop right into Killzone, and this time in this video, I'm not going to pick a section that's like I did in the last one where it was all story. I'm going to pick a different chapter in a different spot, just so I can kind of show you what's going to happen. So I'm still on this high setting. We're directly connected over Wi-Fi, so it's still going to try to look good, but right now it's okay. But you'll see what happens when I go to play the game. You'll see, and I'm not even going to try multiplayer, because I already know what happens there. Let's select a different section. We're getting out. Yeah, I think that was just... And I'm going to die and stuff, and I really don't care. This is just to show you kind of... There's going to be some things happening with the controls and everything. There's going to be some stuff going on. So I'm just going to show you this. This is with a direct Wi-Fi connection, and this is going to be an example of why I recommend doing. I mean, the connection's strong enough. I'm not going to drop it. The connection's good and strong. I mean, it's 100% strength, because the PS TV is basically sitting right on top of the PS4 right now, the way that I have this set up. So it's as strong as it's going to get with that direct Wi-Fi, but this is going to show you exactly why I recommend it against. See, it looks good, but there's just, when I'm hitting left, and now it's moving left. There's a few seconds of input lag from when I hit the button to when, oh Jesus, frame drop. Yeah, and it's like you're fighting the system to be able to play. It looks good, but on this high setting with that direct Wi-Fi, it looks good, but you can't play because it lags. I mean, on your end, you probably don't see it, but I'm telling you, this is like, it looks good, but you will, oh God, you will experience some delay in your input. And of course, then when you try to compensate, it's still going from when you hit your left or your right or whatever, and I mean, you can play, but it's really rough, and I do not recommend using this high stick. Say, I can't maneuver. Controls are just. It looks good because your connection is solid, but you're not. There's not enough bandwidth with that direct Wi-Fi to really keep everything intact. Even with a good solid connection, it's not. Oh yeah, I can't turn. It's just really rough. So you don't want to do that. Um, Actually, if to do an even bigger example, I can actually get online real quick if you want to see an excruciatingly painful death. I'll just jump into TDM real fast, and you will see it lies in. I'll jump on another game too, just to kind of show you this is going to be a little bit of a lengthy video, just because of the fact that I'm just going to kind of show you that some different things. Plus, I wanted to talk about the remote play and some different things you can do. Like I said in the last video,
dude. Yeah, you kids just leave me alone. I'm
really
invisible and trying to stab somebody.
Want
So if you would, please
that good solid
in the
hardware connection, you can get a what's called a power line adapter. And if you look for those, a whole bunch of them are going to come up. And the more expensive ones, like Linksys and D-Link,
just kept running from me until he could shoot me and see me.
Are going to be
dang it.
a bit more pricey.
I
would recommend you just go with like a TP-Link.
Got a real
oh my god, this is like alright, clicking.
Speaking of agents, dude, have you played the game Blackout Retribution yet?
Right, turn left, there we go. Now we're going left, now we're backing up.
It's free on the
and there's just
free on the PlayStation Store.
It's like
Blackout
I can hit.
Oh yeah, I got it.
I can't even revive these guys. It's not registering. It's just taking too long on the input. The input lag is just ridiculous.
Dude,
on this setting, it looks good. It does look good. It looks great. Killzone looks good, but just don't use this damn direct Wi-Fi with that high setting. If you drop it down to normal, it'll play smooth. Your controls will work good. It won't look as good, but the controls will work good. But again, like I said, if you can't do a hardwire connection, you can use Wi-Fi, as I showed in my in a previous video. I'm just gonna go ahead and get out of this. You can use the Wi-Fi, and if your connection strength is good and strong, the high setting will work. But the best way to run that high setting is, like I showed in the last part 3 video, is to use hardwired. And if you can't run, a really long cable from one room to the other, most people can't do that. It's difficult to do. Them power line adapters, and they're not that expensive. I think I bought my set for like $35. I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, why should I go spend extra money? Something should just already work. Well, when it comes to networking, there's a lot of ifs, ands, and buts in there. So if, again, this is just like if you want to try to get the optimal experience. If you drop your quality setting down to normal, it will, it'll play just fine. I mean, unless you have a really horrible strength connection, it will play just fine. Your controls will be good. It's just this high setting. And for a lot of people, depending on how big of a TV you're playing on, that high setting can make a huge difference in your enjoyment of the remote play. It can make a huge difference as to whether or not it's gonna work well for you, and if you're gonna enjoy your gameplay. If you're playing on a smaller TV, it's probably not gonna be that big of a deal. You can probably just throw it on that normal setting, and it won't be bad. But if you've got that bigger TV in that spare room or your man cave or what have you, and you really want that good solid experience, get yourself, and you can't run, maybe you're renting, so you can't drill a hole, or for whatever reason, maybe your wife doesn't want to see a big cable running along the floor or whatever. You can't, for whatever reason, you can't run a cable. Look into a set of those power line adapters. Those are great. You can put one near your system, and then you plug it into an outlet, and then you just plug the Ethernet cable into that. They're really easy to set up. You just plug them into an outlet, you pair them up, and then you just plug an Ethernet cable into them. You hook one near an outlet near your router, and you'll run an Ethernet cable into that, and then do the same right by your system, your PS TV or what have you. And there you go. I recommend either your PS TV or your PS4 on its own if you're going to try to do that hardware. It is already directly connected to whatever router you're trying to use. I have no idea what I'm picking here. I'm just, wow. The lag actually isn't too bad with Destiny. It's mostly Killzone. And the reason for why Killzone probably lags out on this high setting over the direct Wi-Fi, I would have to say it's probably because the frame rate's so much higher. Destiny is only a 30 frames per second game, so this is probably going to be less of an issue with this game having some sort of input lag running that high setting as far as with the direct Wi-Fi. But again, for the most optimal experience, hardwired if you can. If not, like I said, do look into, you know, yeah, you're spending a couple more dollars, but it's totally worth it if you really want that near PS4-like quality experience on your remote play. If that's what you're going for, spend a couple of dollars. Like I said, you don't have to get the most expensive ones. I got a pair of TP links that I use actually for a second Wi-Fi box.
All right, let's see what we can find.
Pretty good sized. That you know, it'll work just fine. Just make sure you get a reputable brand, buy it from like Amazon or something, or if it doesn't work great for you, you can easily return it someplace with, you know, a good return policy. And of course, you know, make sure you check out those reviews, see what other people have said about that particular ones that you're thinking about picking up. If you're thinking about the power line adapter, just see, you know, if people have had problems with it, maybe they fixed it. Oh, okay. This actually isn't too bad. There's still a little bit of delay on this high setting with the direct Wi-Fi, but it's definitely not as bad as Killzone. But again, this is only 30 frames a second. Killzone is 60. That's a lot more required of it to get it done. And even now, even this is still kind of, yeah, I'm getting a little bit of frame loss still. So, you know, just make sure you got that set up right. And you know, like I said before, if you can, try not to use this high setting with this direct Wi-Fi. Just leave it on normal. Well, if you're doing the direct Wi-Fi, if you're doing regular Wi-Fi and you got a good connection, then you're all set. You can use this high setting without a problem. But the high setting is definitely what you want to have. Some other stuff besides the whole hardwiring and all that. If you can't do that and you're doing Wi-Fi and whatnot, there are a couple things you can do. You do have a couple other options. If your Wi-Fi signal isn't that strong, but you know, maybe either figure out for one which system it is that has the lower Wi-Fi signal. Maybe it's the PSTV or the PS4. Find out which one it is that's got the, you know, if you're having problems and you're using the Wi-Fi, you don't want to get that box. You don't want to spend that money, but you still want to try to run the high setting. Just take and part of what you can do is with Wi-Fi is maybe try to, depending on where your router box is that's sending out your Wi-Fi, you can try to move that maybe a little bit more central between your systems, so that way both get the same quality signal, because that will help you keep a nice stable link between the two. The other thing you can do is besides the hardware boxes, you can actually, if you have like an old, not necessarily old, but maybe you're one of the people that really keeps up on all your Wi-Fi equipment, so you're buying a new router quite frequently. You may have what would be considered an older router, but is still is more capable than the built-in Wi-Fi on the PS4 or the PSTV, and you could take that old router you have lying around, if it's any kind of an N router that has like the multiple antennas, it's definitely going to keep and get a better signal strength than the built-in on either the PS4 or the PSTV. You could take and set that up as a bridging device, which is actually pretty easy. All you have to do is type in the brand, look up the model number, get on Google, just type in the model number and type in the word bridging after it, and you should be able to pull plenty of websites with instructions on how to set up a bridge. Just use that old box you have lying around if you still have it, and use that as a bridge on pretty much anything that's higher than an N150 router will be stronger and better than the built-in on the PS4 or the PSTV. Even an N150 might get you a better signal, and that'll just help you boost it up, and you use up some of your old equipment without having to buy anything new. And you set that up as a bridge, and it'll really give you because it's powered and everything, it'll keep a lot stronger, more stable signal, and that'll help improve your performance with your Wi-Fi if that's what you got to do. There are a couple other things you can do too with the Wi-Fi that'll help you out. But again, if you're having those kinds of maybe you're keeping the connection, but you know, you want to run that high setting. That's one way you can accomplish it without having to buy any new equipment. And a lot of us do have old router boxes lying around and stuff, so you know, take the time to cycle those back into your setup and get some use out of them and use them to help improve your performance if you can. If you haven't noticed, as I'm playing, I am having some frame drops and stuff, but it's not too bad on Destiny. Not like Killzone, I guess say. It's just it's kind of weird because I do feel it feels like it's fighting me a little bit with the controls here. I don't think there's really any other tips I can give for the Wi-Fi at this point. You know, that's probably the thing that most people are going to use. But again, if you're trying to run this high setting, the direct Wi-Fi is just not good with the PS TV. I think it works a lot better with the Vita. But again, that's mostly the direct Wi-Fi is more of a setting for the same room. If you're in the same room with it, you know. But again, if you're using the PS TV, you're probably not in the same room. That's more for the Vita. So you know, if you're PS TV, just avoid the direct Wi-Fi. Again, mine is direct Wi-Fi right now, but I have the PS TV sitting basically pretty much right on top of the PS4. I don't think if you're doing that, then you really don't need to to be using the remote play of direct Wi-Fi. You're right there, just turn on the PS4. But I just did that simply just to get the highest connection quality out of the direct Wi-Fi connection, just to show you that even with it sitting right there, there's still, you know, input delay on this high setting and everything. So just make sure if that's the route you're going to go, you know, just use your Wi-Fi, do it through your router, and you know, set it up like that. I think that's pretty much it. I can't really think of anything else remote play related other than, you know, don't with your 4G and stuff like that. Maybe if you're doing it with the PS Vita, that's one thing. It's a smaller screen. You can try to do that, but even then, it's still pretty sketchy. But with the PS TV, just don't try it. Don't do it. It's going to be way more a headache and anger than you're willing to put up with. You'll probably end up throwing something, whether it's your cell phone or the PlayStation TV or whatever, and breaking something. It's going to be frustrating. So don't do that. Just stick with either, you know, try to hardwire it or you know, the Wi-Fi or one of the other options that I mentioned that will also help you out and keep your signal good. So that's going to be it. Sorry for the slightly overly long video, but there's just a lot of different little things I wanted to kind of mention to kind of help people out. And if you have any other questions, something I didn't go over with remote play, and you want that question answered, post it in the comments below. Be like, hey, you know, I have this question. How about this and that? And I'll either answer you in the comments, or I will make another video about that topic to help you out, because I want to help people out with this and really, you know, so everyone has a good experience. That's my thing. Cause I use this frequently enough when the wife's watching TV on the living room and whatnot, and you know, everybody should be able to have a good experience with this. It is a good product, and if set up right, it shouldn't be frustrating or anything else. And I just want to be able to help other people out. But if you like this video, if you found it helpful, useful, any of these videos, please like, share, subscribe, you know. And again, if you have any other questions, even if it's not remote play, if there's a different PS TV topic you would like me to make a video on, please feel free to leave me a comment, tell me about it, and I will do my best to get something together and get that information to you in a timely fashion. Silas out.